Hello, beautiful people. Chapter 4 of Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules. Rule 4: compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. You might see my beautiful dog. I thought he should be part of my podcasts. This is a good one because with social media, we're constantly comparing and looking at other people other than ourselves. And because we get this very fragmented view of who they are, because they're posting up highlights, we often tend to forget that these people have their own problems and their own challenges to cross to. So, in a sense, already starting off the bat, you can't compare yourself to other people because you don't know the full scope of what you're comparing yourself to. Sometimes somebody might have a quality that you really envy, and so fair enough to envy that quality. But you have to look at the entirety of the person to really be like, wow, I want that person's life. So comparing yourself to anybody serves no point because you don't know the challenges and hardships the person had to go through in order to get to that point. So in fact, the only thing you could really do is compare yourself today to who you were yesterday. Now, yesterday is not necessarily a good tell because there's not enough changes that could happen in a 24-hour cycle. But you could compare yourself to who you were 5 years ago. You could compare yourself to who you were 10 years ago. Now, imagine if you made a lot of improvements in the past 5, 10 years and you really didn't, uh, you weren't mindful about making those improvements, you just kind of made them anyways, which is to say, like, you just practiced haphazardly and you did a few things here and there, and suddenly you got better at whatever it is you were practicing, if you were practicing music or art or whatever. But now imagine if you could take it a step further and journal your progress, and you could journal your the subjects that you want to actually improve on. So right now there's a few training things that I'm trying to work on that I really want to improve on. One of them is the one arm pull up, so I'm like tracking the progress of it. One of them is a planche. For those of you who don't know what a planche is, it's when your hands are on the floor and your body is suspended horizontally. And I'm also working on this blog and trying to create contents for people that I love, such as you guys in cyberspace. And I'm trying to be a good doggy owner. So, what I ask you to do is journal, ask yourself today, what were you like 5 years ago that wasn't necessarily the best, that you're not like anymore? Maybe you were shy around men or women and now you're more outgoing with them. Maybe you were spending a lot of money, now you're better with your money. Maybe you lost 5, 10 pounds. Maybe you studied a subject and now you have like a certificate or a degree or whatever. Maybe you fill in the dots. So you want to journal and see where your progress is at with yourself. You want to remember that comparing yourself to anybody is only good if you're using the comparison in order to propel you into the next phase of your life. And that you want to actually analyze that maybe the person's life isn't so perfect. They just have one element of their life that you wish you can have, or an element of their life that you wish you were personally better at. So just use them as a mentor for that thing without creating envy, because you don't know what the person's going through behind closed doors. Example, there's one musical artist, his life seems amazing, he's rich, he gets a lot of women, etc., and his daughter's a heroin addict. So I'm sure a lot of you wouldn't necessarily envy that per se. So journal and track your progress on things that you're doing. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not who someone else is today. And also, it's just like take inventory of the things you've already done. So on my end, in the past 10 years, I got my yoga teacher training certificate, Pilates certificate, personal training certificate, massage certificate, and naturopath certificate. And I'm sure that I'll probably start another certificate by the end of the year. I'm going to be 40 years old. I'm probably in one of the better shapes that I've been in a long time. So that's like good news for me. I've read easily hundreds of books in the past 5 years. So that's also good. And I've made a living doing something that I love. I haven't made a fortune doing the things that I love, but I made a living doing something that I love. So that's like big progress, because if I track it back 10 years ago, I had jobs I really didn't love and that they were like soul sucking, and I haven't had any of those jobs anymore. So that's been amazing. And I'm a dog owner who loves his dog, and his dog is in decent health, and so that part is good too. So again, I repeat, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not who someone is today. track your progress, monitor what you want to improve on so that you could be more mindful. So example, if you're doing 10 reps of an exercise, you might not get to 11 or 12 tomorrow, but try and see if next week you could get to 11 or 12. If you only have time to read 10-15 minutes a day, try and see if you can read 30 minutes a day. Try and wake up that half an hour early to get your exercise in, or try and wake up that half an hour early so that you can read and improve your mind and enrich your mind. Try and make a small investment on a stock that you find interesting. Come out of the box. Try and become the best version of yourself. Use people only as a reference, not as a means to be envious or sad or feel sorry for yourself, because you don't know their whole story. Just make sure that your personal story is improving. Namaste.